Hey, kids, how would you like to hear this on the screen instead of the great show you came to see? That's what you sound like. Honest. Please cooperate and do your part in keeping this theater quiet so everyone, including you, can enjoy it.
What is up, everybody, and welcome into the DNVR Nuggets podcast presented by DraftKings Sportsbook. Get out of here, Kale. Get out of here. America's top-rated sportsbook app. You can download it. Use promo code DNVR when you do. We got a special show for you guys today. Very excited for this one. I got Harrison Wind. That's not why I'm not excited for Harrison Wind, but I am happy that you are here, Harrison.
Yeah, well, I was thinking we could just cut the intro short today because we do have a special guest. We don't need to hear from me and Vogt. We don't need to hear us crack some stupid joke or something.
Well, I do have to point out Vogt's beautiful hair. He does have gorgeous hair today. We have to acknowledge it.
Look, you dress for the job you want, and I want Tim's job, so let's do this.
Is that what's going on? All right, you guys know it. President of basketball operations for the Denver Nuggets, one of the architects of this era of Denver Nuggets basketball, Tim Connelly. Everybody welcome on Tim Connelly. Tim, what's going on, man?
Nothing, and the hair is impressive. Strong,
Thank you, sir.
Isn't it?
A little jealousy right now, I'm not going to lie.
He's
so full.
It's a recent development. It doesn't usually look this good, but his boyish charm is in full effect.
Turning a new leaf, Tim. New me, new year.
I like that. I like it. What's the expectation on this new year? What are you trying to achieve?
Maybe like garner some respect. I don't know.
No.
We'll see. No, it's
Tough task.
Yeah.
I like
That's a
it.
good
We got to
goal.
find some new friends for that.
Absolutely true. So we're excited, man. We got a lot of stuff. We want to kind of go through the season and talk about the different beats, get your perspective. But first, Tim, I don't know how you feel, but this has been a weird 18 months. We used to see each other at Pepsi Center all the time, see the players, see all of this stuff. I feel like we've talked only a handful of times, and not just you, but everybody inside the arena. Has that been nice, being away from all of the media and from all of the constant conversation?
No, I mean, you're going to be surprised by this. I actually enjoy you guys.
Very surprised.
Yeah. It's been a hard year. It's not unique to our industry. I think everyone misses the kind of the normal social interactions. Watch the team grow up, watch you guys grow up. So not having those, even today, I'd much rather be at your bar drinking on your tab than be sitting in my office. So it's been challenging. A lot of credit to our staff, our players, our coaches, the entire Nuggets organization for kind of getting through it. And I think there's a slight light at the end of the tunnel. So hopefully we can see each other live at some point very soon.
Yeah, it's funny that you say drinking on our tab because we drink cheap. We have. I don't know if have you tried Rakia yet?
Come on, have I tried Rakia? Come on.
Yeah, we figured.
He's like, don't look at this cup that's next to me. You don't want to know.
I've tried Rakia once or twice. Yeah.
Okay. What's your opinion of it?
I love it. Yeah, I enjoy Rakia. I like the Kints. It's probably my favorite. I got a good buddy who's got a Serbian bar, a Balkan bar in DC and Belgrade. So we share some pretty good Rakia. Love when I went to see Nikola most recently. His brothers gave me some really cool homemade rakia. Big fan. And you guys don't drink that cheap. That bill in San Diego wasn't that cheap.
That's right.
One of our favorite parts of this gig, Tim, in the last few years has been our newfound connection with Serbian culture, learning a little bit more every day. I imagine it's even more so for you, your relationship with Jokic. How much have you learned about Serbian culture?
I think the Balkans are just a fascinating part of the world. I mean, I've been fortunate enough to spend a lot of time throughout the ex-Yugoslavia, both for fun and for business. I spent like 6 or 7 summers in Croatia. My single days, that was great. One time took a yellow taxi from Novi Sad to Split, which was eye-opening. Stopped at Zagreb airport on the way, picked up a buddy from Baltimore, booked a flight about 12 hours earlier. I just think it's a really, really neat part of the world. Great people. It's been really enjoyable to learn their culture. I think it's, beyond basketball, just really smart, really cool, really genuine people all throughout that region. I've been lucky enough to spend a lot of whether it's Belgrade, whether it's Novi Sad, whether it's Sarajevo, used to be in a camp in Bosnia, involved with a camp in Bosnia. The Croatian coast is as pretty as it gets. Slovenia is gorgeous with their park, so it's highly recommend getting over there. It's pretty amazing.
I was going to ask, do you have like a favorite place that you've scouted in Europe? Not even just Serbia, just all across Europe. What maybe your favorite places that you've scouted?
Yeah, I mean, it's that like pre or post marriage,
Yeah, right.
No, there's so many great places. I love watching games in Belgrade because of the passion. I used to love going to Sabona games. You can stay at the hotel right down the street and walk everywhere. I tend to like places that I can walk. If I can avoid taxis or Ubers or rental cars, that's my favorite place to scout. But it's hard to beat scout in Spain. When you leave the game at 10 o'clock and dinner's just starting. Germany's got a great league. France is really fun. There's a gym in Paris. It's pretty fun. It's a nice walk if you're staying downtown. It's a really fun walk too. So I don't have one place. It's just a really cool way to see the world and a really cool opportunity to learn different cultures.
And I don't want to ask you about too many prospects, in this year's draft, but J. Cole, have you been able to catch any of his games so far? I know he's professional now.
I love his album. His album's great. 95 South is strong. Anything with Cameron on is strong. It's funny. We have Dechis over in Africa right now. His uncle is one of my really good friends. Amadou Fall was him, Masai, a group of guys. This is kind of their passion play. So I'm really bummed I'm not there. Any other time I'd be there. It's so cool what they're doing in the continent. I think that league will slowly start to gain steam, and it's pretty impressive they were able to launch it this year, given everything that's going on. J. Cole, he walked on in St. John's. Met him a couple years ago at the All-Star. We were at a small little get-together. He seemed like a really cool guy. Love his music, so I think it's cool that he's kind of following his passion, his dream. There's a chance, Adam, there's a chance for you and I. Come on.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Start an Irish league. We'll get over there.
We played one time. I played with Tim just in a pickup game. Fouled every time. I didn't say anything. He fouled every time. Non-stop fouling.
Yeah, well, you were like it's the most back to the basket 5-second violations I've ever seen.
No 3-second in pickup, man. No 3-second call. One of the things we really wanted to ask you, today on the show is just how does the culture? I mean, I think culture has been such a big part about the Nuggets' rise the last 5-6 years, whatever it's been. And my question is, was it a vision you had 5 years ago of, hey, this is the type of team we want to build? Or was it a result of, you get a Gary Harris, you get a Nikola Jokic, you say, okay, now we'll build a culture off of our first centerpieces?
Yeah, it's a great question. We were languishing, right? Like 6-7 years ago, we had some talent, but there was no clear direction of what we were doing. I certainly made the mistake of trying to have a team that could both compete and grow simultaneously, and I think that's difficult to do so when you're kind of the issues don't always converge or the goals don't always converge. So, kind of sat down with Josh a long time ago and said, hey, this is kind of not really who we want to be. Let's declare a direction. Let's do it with really, really good guys who care about basketball, who aren't huge ego guys, who are kind of reflective of who we'd like to think we are. Pretty laid back guys who work hard and cross your fingers. And then we were lucky enough some of these guys are really good players. So it was by design in theory, but in application, I think it was all luck.
How does Jokic factor into this, Tim? And sort of like best players can set the culture. You're bringing in new guys, and we already heard Austin Rivers talk about the selfless nature of Nikola and how that's really unparalleled by players of his caliber. So how is he factored into you guys fostering this culture?
I think we certainly do whatever he does. We follow, and his guy's got absolutely zero ego. He's a super, super, super nice guy. He's got a great family. Like his brothers, Natalia, they've become good friends. So I think you see where he gets it from. Mom and dad are awesome. Godfather's awesome. And he's grounded. He doesn't seek fame. He doesn't play the sport to have the most followers or to, he doesn't really like fame, quite frankly. He just wants to hoop and win games and have fun in between, crack jokes, and move on. So I think seeing what he does every day is the most impactful part of who we are culturally. But it's not unique to him. We don't have any ego guys. We have a couple guys who fake like they're ego guys, but they're teddy bears. They're absolute sweethearts. What they do in the community, how communicative they are, how open they are to just be one of the guys. I've never seen anything like it. This is my 25th year in the league. Been around a lot of great guys, but the last couple of years, collection of people we have, it is really special.
Did you get to spend time with Jokic this summer at all? And it was such a short off season. I'm just curious if you got to be around him, if you had any indication what was coming for him this year. Of course, famously last year he came into the season, he looked a little bit bigger than usual. This season he looked thinner than ever. Did you have an indication in your conversations or being around him this summer this was coming?
This summer, the last thing you want to do is see any of us after the bubble. I think the borders were closed. Everything was really difficult. So generally after the season, you sit down with the guys, you have exit meetings, you have dinners, you have lunches. And after the Orlando, again, none of us wanted to see any of us. As fun as it was, I think the last face Nikola wanted to see was mine. He's just he's a worker, and he's a guy that is going to come back better each year. And he's got the staff here. Obviously, the freedom that Mo has allowed him is so unique. Nikola's career could have taken numerous paths, and I think playing for a coach as good and creative as Mo helped him tremendously. We joke quite a bit. If he would have signed one of those bigger European contracts coming from Mega, would he have been allowed the same freedom? I think the pretty loud answer is likely no. On our staff, Felipe and Ogi Stojakovic, those guys are extensions of his family. And then when he gets back to Sombor, his brothers, his godfather, who's a really, really good coach. You just know he's going to be around smart people that work and are not going to allow him to skip a step. And I think what's most changed about him, obviously, is his body and his acceptance and appreciation that, like, hey, I really can be great, not just good. I think I've told all you guys the story before. After his first year, we were just hanging out. And what'd you think? And he was surprised how well he played. He was genuinely. He's like, I'm shocked. I was able to compete and have moments where I felt like I belong. So I think there's such a strong internal belief now that I'm not just good. I'm great. He'll never say it. He'll never act like he cares, but he knows it, and he knows that it's based on all the hard work. After every game now, he's lifting with Felipe and Klaus. He's makes fun of me for why I have a peanut butter jelly sandwich. He's like, brother, don't eat that. I'm like, come on, man. When you were crushing Shavapi and Coke, I let you have your fun. Let me have a peanut butter jelly sandwich. So I think it's a guy who's grown up. I think what's underrated about a lot of guys on our team, not just Nikola, but Jamal, how young they are. We've watched these guys since such an early part of their career. We forget Nikola's 26 in a couple of months. Jamal just turned 24 a couple months ago. So I think sometimes in the now environment and society we're in, he's just grown up, and he's grown up, and now he's appreciative and aware that, like, wow, I really am an elite player, and he enjoys being that guy.
When do you think that change first happened? Because just recently I remembered the video from 2016 Olympics when he came back to Sombor and there was a giant crowd to meet him, and he actually broke down crying. And one, he looked so young, and two, I think he broke down because he was so surprised that this many people were like gathering to see him. At least that's what he mentioned. So it clearly was after that point that he sort of was like, wow, I'm a big deal. I might be the best player in the world. Was there a moment or a year or something that created that realization in him?
It's a question get asked a lot. I don't know if there's one moment, but I know from kind of scout's perspective, that when we drafted him, we're like, hey, we like this guy. He can really pass. He's got legit size. He's got connectivity to the States. His brother played at Nemanja played Division I at Detroit. Then he went to CW Post, an excellent program in New York. Natalia was in school here. She was an athlete. So, the first question with any international players, do they want to be here? The answer is no. It's you move on. But we saw a guy that had real basketball instincts and had size and had a long way to go. But we thought the instincts were at some point going to allow him to be a pretty good NBA player. And then the year he went back to the ABA League, the first year we watched, the first game of that post-draft season when he was still with Mega, I think that was one of the first times we were all like, wow, this guy doesn't look like he's just going to be a pretty good player. He's doing things that we've rarely seen, and a league that's produced a lot of bigs. And going into the draft process, we watched a ton of tape of European bigs who made it at the same age. You make the mistake too often comparing guys at 18 to guys at 25 now. It's what's the 18 look like versus the 18-year-old, 19-year-old. For me, the first game in the NBA, so that when he played forgot who they played. They played Brady Heslop's team. I always forget who they played. I think they played oh man, I forget the name. I clearly remember the game. So that was the first time I think this guy's gonna be really, really, really good. And I'm blindly and obnoxiously positive with our guys, and I got beat up. I'd take him over this guy, I'd take him that guy. I'm like, dude, chill out.
Hey Tim, we also got beat up for that too. Like you're preaching to the choir here.
Yeah, no, you guys were early members of the Jokic cult. And then I think for me, the first NBA game, we played at San Antonio, I guess the second year, I think. Duncan was there, and he was just scoring with ease. And it was the shots that most guys can't hit with no one on the court. I think the Olympics. When the Olympics, he was ridiculous. I mean, he was just killing guys. So I don't have the one moment, but those 3 moments, and then game 82 against Minnesota when him, Jamal, they just weren't scared. We went down, and you saw them get to a gear that we had not seen previously in a game that really meant something against veterans, against Jimmy Butler, against Taj Gibson, a bunch of really good players. So I think those are the 4 moments that jump out at me.
Game 82 is always what we talk about, I feel like, when we look back at a moment, and that was as big of a game as you guys had probably played since you had been here. And the fact that he was so good in that game and didn't shy away from the moment and was so clutch down the stretch, even though it was a loss. But I feel like that was the game that told us, at least, like, okay, he's that guy. Like, he's that dude in big moments.
Yeah, no, I agree. And against veterans, against a heck of a coach in Tom Thibodeau in Minnesota, to watch those guys, it was palpable. I thought their look changed, their demeanor changed, and a couple years later, I can't think of a better closing duo than Jamal and Nikola. And I think that night in Minnesota, that whole run up to the final game was crazy. We were dead to rights. I think we lost to Memphis, and then every game felt like the crazy Milwaukee win. With the Feathers, so many crazy games that led up to that game 82, and then you'd never get without that loss. Maybe we're not where we are. We certainly don't have Michael Porter right now. Right. So it's the butterfly effect on winning or losing, or picking the player or not picking the player, is always so fascinating, because you really don't know what it means.
No. With Jokic this season, when he's the MVP, I think there's still a lot of speculation. I think it's a lock. Was there a moment where you thought, man, he might be MVP this year, or he's leveled up a whole other level from where we've seen him?
Again, it just because I'm so often wrong on a positive sense. Yeah, a couple years ago, I'm like, he's going to be the MVP. You got to be the MVP, and I was trying to talk it into existence. I just, but no, there's been moments this year where I think the home Utah game, when I couldn't stop laughing. It was. And it happens. You catch it, and you catch a team. Maybe not it's the best, but it was some of the moves he had were just. I've never seen those moves. Certainly never seen him from a 6'11" guy. His ability to advance full court and then slow down and then play fast. His ability. I mean, he's. I don't know. I bet you Nicola's like 270, but he's probably 200 pounds is between his thighs and his chest. So he just moves people with every crab dribble. I think he's the best passer in the NBA, not just passing big. I think he's the best passer. So I think that Utah game at home, how efficient and effective he was against a great, great, great team. And some of the moves he made, I've never seen him. So that's probably the one moment this year I'm like, this guy's really going to be the MVP this year.
Tim, you talked briefly about, maybe not wanting to see each other after the bubble was over. Very short offseason, short turnaround to sort of get back into, whatever the mindset is that you have entering a season. How did you feel dealing with the shortest offseason ever? And then how did that affect your day-to-day job?
It's also hilarious seeing these comments on whatever app. This app is awesome. It was hard, man. I'll be honest. You guys know me fairly well. I mean, away from the team, it's like I'm not an eat, sleep, work guy. I want balance, and I'd rather be a really crappy president and a great dad. And those 83 days, I was a really crappy dad and a really crappy husband. And people make sacrifices like that. Obviously, our military, and God bless them. But I didn't sign up for that. No one signed up for to be gone. Either we won the first round playoff series, and we had a coach bawling because he was going to miss his son's first birthday. I can't tell you how many times my son and daughter, 4 and 5, were just crying. He felt like such a jerk. Like, what are we doing? This is just hoops, And then, those 2.5 hours in the gym, you really feel it. Like, hey, we're making a run here. We got a chance. So it was something I would never do again. The NBA does it again, then Godspeed. I'll be lazy and watch from my couch. No one asked for it. I think they did a great job logistically, but it was brutal. And it was just it was really nice, the facilities. They did an awesome job. It was Groundhog Day. We would, one day I walked 17.5 miles around a perimeter road. The road's like 1.3 miles. We had a walking through.
That's tough.
It was brutal, man. It was absolutely brutal. And then you play, not play, play, not play. And all right, Tuesday, you guys want to go to Rick's, the really crappy sports bar, Rick's again, and drink $9 beers and have wings for the 61st time? Yeah. I mean, some of it, there were some really cool moments. We would, especially as it became smaller and smaller, as the final 4 teams, it was like, okay, the Nuggets have the pool now. Let's go there. And like Nikola plays some weird game in the pool. It's like keep away, and he does like all the water polo stuff. And I was actually like looking for that, like, hey, you guys want to go play the pool game? That's how low the bar was for entertainment.
I don't know what keep away is, but I imagine Jokic is like really good at it. Water polo, he's great at it. Yeah.
Let's say it's 3 people around. I'm in the middle. And you can't catch the ball. You're just tapping it, and you can splash. You can't really tackle. And if it could be any odd number, you can make it work. But I mean, we played spike ball, and we played. We played some pickup. We had a couple horrific injuries playing pickup but 2 guys needed surgery on our staff. It was all both on game points too. Both on game points. So it's pretty embarrassing. Trying to run to find a team doc when you're just trying to keep yourself active in the bubble. But it was, the basketball was great. Really, really cool memories. From a personal side, it was challenging for everybody involved.
As we kind of move into this season, the Nuggets started 1-4, 2 losses to the Kings. The first, sort of week of the season, the team didn't look that great. What was going through your mind right out the gate? Do you have the perspective of, hey, this is 72 games, like we shouldn't analyze week by week?
I mean, I felt pretty confidently we're going to be a good team, but I'd be lying if I thought we had the same. We were as good a team. I mean, losing Jeremy's a heck of a player. Torrey, heck of a player. Mason, heck of a player. We lost really good players. And the Jeremy one in particular, where there was not some clear plug and play guy. Jeremy played almost completely at the 4 during the regular season, and we saw his ability to play both positions in the playoffs. He was so good, and Detroit wisely recognized how good he was and saw the year he had this season. So I wasn't worried that we weren't going to be good, but I was disappointed in how we started. I thought a couple guys, but it was weird, Adam, because I didn't want to be overly critical because, quite frankly, these guys, some of them just gotten home. So it was not December to say, okay, you're working on your in and out, or are you going to be a more effective player out of the corner? Or, it was a hard summer to be harsh on guys. And it should have been the Sacramento game, take away Sacramento and the Wizards, we'd be in a different place right now, right?
Right.
So I was disappointed that we were 1-4. I knew we were a good team. I didn't know how good we were going to be. I knew the West had gotten a lot better. Kind of thought Phoenix was going to make a huge jump. I thought Utah was going to be shot out of a cannon. Seeing those guys up close to 7 games, and it was fun hanging out with a lot of Utah guys, players and staff in the bubble was really enjoyable. Even gained more respect for what they do. So I thought they were going to be really good. I thought Portland made some really nice offseason additions. I thought it was a harder Western Conference. I thought it'd be hard for us to hold our place, but I also, even with the 1-4 start, I thought we've proven to be a pretty good team over the last several years.
Did you think just the weight of everything in the bubble, and I think about this when just looking back at what Jamal went through, just physically, emotionally, did you feel like the weight of just that entire situation impacted, I mean, not just maybe you guys, but everybody at the start of the season?
I think there was clearly a mental fatigue, more so than physical. There was not the same excitement from any of us, not players. I mean, I think any staff member said that they had the same excitement to start a training camp this year as they did a year prior. They would be disingenuous. There was – it was in 18 – it's been almost a 2-year season, so no one took vacations. We were under the misconception that we're going to start later. So, okay, well, let's – maybe everyone can go see their family for Christmas or whatever, maybe, or Thanksgiving. And it just started so quickly and so abruptly. We expected it. We didn't, and there wasn't much to, again, Mo did a great job. The challenge in the bubble is to have fun. The challenge when we started here is to have fun, because there's not a lot of fun that was happening in our world the last year and a half. So as fun as we can have it. So even if we weren't performing to a certain level, we had a bad practice, it didn't mean we weren't going to admonish guys, be hard on guys, but we probably weren't as harsh as we've been in the past, knowing that everyone's dealing with different things.
Yeah. So the first 4 games, I thought, so much of the season was about Michael Porter now stepping in.
Can I step in? Hurricane Teabag just had a good comment.
Hurricane Teabag? You want to get back to Hurricane Teabag?
That is great. That is a great name. That is an awesome name.
It's a great point, Mr. Teabag.
I assume TB is Tampa Bay, right?
It's got
I don't know. Maybe.
Hilarious. So I thought so much of the season was about Michael Porter, and I thought those first 4 games it looked uncomfortable, just as all these growing pains often are. And then he goes out, and he's out for I can't remember how many games. It was quite a few. The first half, in my opinion, was really a story of Michael Porter just going through different challenges and not necessarily seeing all the results. Around the beginning of March is when I thought it started to really click for him. What can you kind of tell us about that period, the first half, what he had to go through, and how you feel like he handled the adversity to kind of get to the point he's at now?
I think the thing that's underrated about Michael, I think, is just how much he loves basketball and how hard he works. He's obsessed with it. I mean, it's sometimes it gets him in trouble. He'll say, hey, I read about this, or there's a guy in Germany doing this. I'm like, I love it, because you want it so bad, and he wants greatness. The guy, he does not want to just be a guy. He thinks he has the ability to be an elite guy. I think he's shown that certainly this year, and he puts the work behind it. And I can't tell you how many times during the summer, hey, Michael was in our gym. And it's like, what were you doing in Auburn? Michael was in our gym. What were you – all of these colleges. Wow. He's always hooping. He's always playing. Even in the bubble, he was in the gym all the time. I mean, he would hang out and just watch guys shoot, or watch guys play 2-on-2, or he'd go watch other players shoot at night. So I think his work ethic is probably not talked about enough. You don't come back from what he came back from without an immense work ethic. He's also he's not a good guy. He's a great guy. He's a much goofier guy than I think he gives on a lot. I joke he's like 2% like, what's up, my guy? And then 98% just hilarious, great sense of humor, unbelievable family, great teammate. He's a really, really fun guy to be around. So I think he hit this season knowing the expectations were risen, knowing that he played well in the bubble, and he put so much on himself. When you see him, I'm pretty harsh critic with him with his body language at times, right? Mm-hmm. And he gets down on himself. Because his internal drive is so high. There's no frustration elsewhere. It's usually he gets down. I can't believe I missed that shot. I can't believe I missed that move. I can't believe I fell asleep off the ball. So I think he came into the season, a very short off season, and just wanted to kill it. And it came from such a great place. And none of us were right. We had several guys struggling out of the box that didn't play up to their level that we needed to play at. So it hasn't surprised me anything that Michael's done, because I know how bad he wants it. I know, again, he's got such a great support system with his family. His dad's the best. One of the best shooting coaches I've seen. as evidenced by all his sons.
Right.
They're absolute buckets.
I wondered that because I always wonder that it has to be a great shooting coach somewhere in there. So you credit his dad a lot. For
his dad and his mom. His mom's one of the leading scorers of Iowa high school basketball.
Wow.
His dad played at UNO, but I've talked mechanics with his dad. He's just a really bright guy, and he's all his sons can shoot. I mean, Jonte shoots the leather off the ball. The son going to DU shoots the leather. They're all just really talented shooters. So I think with Mike, what you see with him is when the work ethic's always there, the desire's there, the God-given talent's there. Obviously, he's a 6'11" auto bucket. But I think what he's really good at, he kind of takes a deep breath and watches. Okay, like you saw it in the bubble. Okay, they're going to play me this way, and I was garbage last game, but I'll make a slight change. I think he's been unbelievable last couple of months. They're going to be more and more physical. They're going to top lock me. What can I do to get open? How can I play in the paint more? Not as a post scorer per se, but how can I? Because once I get around the rim, there's not much smaller defenders can do against me, right? So I think his overall feel for how to adjust and progress is pretty underrated.
I think a big part of that, Tim, that's been, one of the biggest surprises to me, pleasant surprises, is how receptive he is to criticism, constructive criticism, the pressure. And I think there was this errant concern from the outside that, Malone certainly didn't handle him with kid gloves. And, are they going to push Porter away? But what we've seen is, as you mentioned, Porter really is about this life as a hooper and a potentially great player. Am I wrong?
No, he's obsessed with it. Look, he's played for hard coaches. He grew up in a big-time basketball family. I'm sure there's plenty of competitive games with his sisters and brothers. He is obsessed with basketball to a level I've seen only a handful of times in my 25 whatever years. He really, really, really wants to be part of something special. And he cares about winning. I think when he played those 2 games in Missouri, he shouldn't have been playing. He cared. He wanted to play. He wanted to help impact winning. The guy, he doesn't miss practice. He's missed a couple games. He had a sprained ankle. He plays through bumps and bruises. I think his mental and physical toughness is unbelievably overlooked. Mm-hmm. And there's going to be I don't know if it's going to be a smooth road when you're trying to incorporate a super talented player like Mike, who in a normal year he's 1, 2, or 3. Right? I don't care what year he comes out. When you're a 6'11" elite shooter rebounder, you're going to go 1, 2, or 3. And those guys have never had to be anything but focused guys. They've never had to come off the bench, never had to have healthy DMPs, never had to mesh their games with others. And again, a huge compliment to Mo, huge compliment to Nikola and Jamal and Paul and Will to putting their arms around him. I mean, we all get frustrated with each other. You sometimes see it on the court. I think it's hilarious. Sometimes you see it in practice. But they're collectively, those guys, they're, it sounds super cheesy. They're kind of a happy family. They kind of get the quirks that we all have, the quirks that he has. One guy might want to go out to the club, might want to read a book, one might want to watch video. But collectively, I think these guys have a really good appreciation for each other because of the work ethic that each and every guy on their team has, and kind of I think we have a team full of guys that aren't scared of it. That they're not scared to screw up, and I think it's hard to find guys that aren't governed by fear, and I think Michael's certainly one of those guys.
When Will Barton gave Mike the endorsement, I think it was last year when he was a rookie. Yeah. That's when I was like, okay, Mike's going to be the real deal. Will's the guy I look at as like my barometer in terms of how I should feel about guys, if they're like going to be legit or not. No,
he's a good one. I mean, Will, if he wants to be, Will could be a brilliant coach or front office guy. He's another guy obsessed with basketball. Our video guys will play games with him all the time. They'll name players in the league. He's got to guess the college. He's the only guy on our team that's really good at it. Actually, Bowles really good at it too. Those 2 guys just know where they came up and where they went to school. But hoopers know hoopers. If Michael didn't have a work ethic, if he wasn't a guy that cared about winning, you guys have watched our team grow up. I think it would be pretty evident that he's not part of kind of the guys that we found success with, and he's exactly that type of person.
I think Austin Rivers has been so fascinating, and it's funny that he was the one that had the comment about it's funny how this league works. sometimes they just determine who plays who, meaning who plays the villain, who plays the hero, who's the lazy guy or whatever. And it's funny to me for two reasons. One, because Michael Porter did come with a lot of just like rumors about who he was as a person. But Austin Rivers, the same thing. Like I had an impression of Austin Rivers that has been very different from the one I've gotten to know through the Zoom calls and different things. Just you being behind the scenes, how much is it like that where you're like, wow, there's a story or a narrative around this guy that is just so off from what's actually happening?
Yeah, I was lucky with Austin because I was with him his rookie year in New Orleans. Lucky also we have Marty Post in the front office. The Duke connects are pretty deep. Austin Rivers is a really nice guy. He's always been a really, really nice guy. I mean, we had several candid conversations prior to signing Austin about, some perception that he has in certain league-wide, not league-wide, but certain teams. And he was very candid. And but I agree with Austin. It's kind of scary. There's very few bad guys in the NBA, and there's very few guys. Like the fact that Austin was sitting on the street for a couple of months to me is laughable. The guy's a competitive guy. He's a big-time defender. Very confident with the ball. Played in a lot of big games. I think he's played 47 playoff games. I thought he was fantastic in Houston. Had some really good moments in New York. But I think what's scary, and not just the league, but in life, is you hear one thing, it's unvalidated, and you take that as gospel. I heard Harrison's a jerk. Right? I mean, I hear that quite often. Right?
Yeah,
we all hear that.
Yeah.
Right?
That's a big rumor. Yeah,
I heard it. I was just walking in Aloha. I heard that two people randomly screamed at me. Do you know Harrison Wynn? The guy's a jerk, but you get to know Harrison. He's a good guy. A really good guy. But I think that happens quite a bit, and I think. Hey, I went to see. I looked at another guy recently. Someone said had a quote unquote a bad reputation. I started calling him really good buddies that had played with him and coached him. They loved the guy. And I was a victim. I was culpable in doing the thing that I hate. I heard this, and no, the guy's a great guy, the big time worker.
Who was
culture
it?
guy.
No, I'm just kidding.
It was Jeff Morton. So I think the league makes. I personally think the league makes decisions and they make their mind up quickly. I agree with Austin. I think unless you sound a certain way, look a certain way, or in the cool group, it's a very high school approach to how these guys are viewed. I think Michael's one of the most miscast guys I've ever seen. The guy is a guy who's obsessed with basketball, obsessed with his family, very faith driven, and always has a smile on his face. So I get mad at Michael. I said, Michael, you're always smiling. You're like a joyous, fun guy, and then in the game you're stoic. Even when he gets frustrated, I mean, you guys watch so intently, he'll get frustrated with something and he'll go to the bench and he's trying to look angry, and then Paul will make a three and he can't help himself. He gets so happy.
So true.
So I think that's a guy that I don't know, maybe because he's like a bucket getter and he's a 6'11" good looking guy, and you assume he is a fantastic A+ guy. And I think it's scary. It's a lesson we can all, I think, learn is we all get judged pretty quickly. And if you're not lucky enough to kind of combat that judgment or give him a second chance, it can really stick with you.
As a fellow very good-looking guy, I can assure you guys it's very difficult. All the judging that goes on.
What do you think of Adam's haircut, Tim? What do you think of his haircut?
I mean, I like it. I think it's cool. I think you should probably go with a little cut of what's it called? A
little slash, a little line.
Yeah,
some racing stripes, maybe.
We should have a bet right now. Can we bet something on the Portland series? If we do something really, I don't know. If Nikola averages something, can we shave your head for charity or something?
Oh, I'm in. But you said it. It's got to be real though. This can't be like if he averages 20 points. It's got to be something big.
Yeah, I don't know. Actually, I'm gonna NBA. I was joking about that.
Yeah, that's right.
Right. Yeah,
That's right.
we would never
Imagine.
even put you in that position, Tim.
Yeah, that's crazy.
This looks like a crypto chat right now. That's fun.
The chat is. It's funny because that's not even all the comments. I'm seeing them here on the side banner. There's millions of them. They're loving it. Another thing that we're kind of in chronological order here, but the G League announcement this year and Denver getting a team next year. I saw Ben Tenzer taking over, it looks like, and taking the charge on some of that. Do you know at this moment, and can you speak at this moment to sort of what benefit that provides, and what are the conversations like about how you plan to use it?
Yeah, Ben did a great job, and we've explored so many different options for the G League, and it's been a frustratingly surprising, elongated process. So we're pretty fired up with Grand Rapids. Actually, went there the other day. It was awesome. Hey, really cool city, really cool, especially if you like beer and good food. There's a great food scene and beer everywhere. I was really impressed by the city. I've never been there. It's been challenging trying to get guys to play kind of the way we want them to play. I think last year we had Vando and RGV and Vlaco and Erie and Bowl and Windy City, and that's hard. It's really hard. If we want to have Vlaco play full time with the 3, you can't do that unless it's your own team, for example. Right. So to be able to have shared philosophies and terminologies, it's going to be really helpful. It's going to allow us to look at another 3 or 4 guys a year. Exhibit 10 is going to be awesome. I mean, there's a lot of guys that we like in Summer League, or we like, they're going to be undrafted that we don't really have. We got 15 roster spots, 2 ways. Beyond that, we can't get these guys in their gym. So that'll be really cool. I think we're going to be as creative as possible with it. And additionally, it's a good chance to develop staff.
Right.
It's, watch coaches, watch trainers, watch PD guys develop. So we're super fired up and should be awesome.
Yeah, I just think about a guy like Bowl, and he's obviously so talented, and he comes into a really good team, a contender, and there's just obviously not the opportunity for him. But I've just got to think like a guy like him, because he just needs to play, right? I mean,
it's look at Bowl, Marcus, Vlatko, Zeke. It's RJ getting a rhythm. Especially after this season, there was no pre-draft, no summer league. So the guys who are rookies or second-year guys this year, I think it's near impossible. Hey, go down to Grand Rapids, hoop for a couple weeks. Getting a rhythm, come back. So I think it's been we're extremely excited that it's no longer going to be a disadvantage. I think it's going to really prove to be hugely beneficial, and we're super excited.
Kind of go to the trade deadline now. Did you know, or did you have an inclination going into the season that this would probably be a big trade deadline for you? And just kind of how did it unfold with Aaron Gordon?
Well, we were looking for a certain type of player. We again, huge loss with Jeremy. We were looking for a guy that could both protect Nikola and augment his skill set. So I've used this comparison a bunch. To me, it's like a left tackle in football. If you have a quarterback, you need a good left tackle.
Right.
He protects your quarterback, allows him to do more things. And there's only a couple of those guys in the league that could do that, and even less are available. So we had a handful of guys circled. I know Aaron was a really coveted guy. He had a very active market, and we knew it was going to be expensive. Without Gary, we're not sitting here today. RJ is going to be a really, 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 really good player.
Rookie of the month.
It's going to be, we're just talking the other day about that. The guy's great size, big time athlete, both vertically and laterally. He's got quickness. He carries. Orlando got a good player, and then a first round pick. So we were aware that the price is going to be high, but when you see Nikola playing at the level that he was playing at, price be damned, essentially. When a guy's playing this good, you have to be a bit more aggressive and less pragmatic than maybe we have been in the past, and kind of make sure that you're not missing out because of one additional asset. So we were very lucky that, I think, Gary and RJ were a very attractive package, those guys. Now, the first round pick as well, but I think they had their eyes on those guys, and certainly thought RJ was a guy that they really, really liked in the draft. And, we got lucky, and I think it was a win-win trade. We got lucky. They got lucky. They got 2 big-time guys and big-time talent, and they got another first-round pick.
What are you thinking when the first, I don't know what it was, 10 games that you got with everybody healthy, Murray, Gordon, everything. Denver's rolling. I mean, it felt like they were winning every game, but some of the games were just blowout wins. First quarter up 15, 20 points. What are you thinking at the early returns after Gordon arrived?
It's funny. We played the Clippers I don't know what that was. And that was I got a buddy who grew up in my family, actually, he played in Cedevita in Zagreb, Dante Draper. So him and Melo grew up together, known Dante Draper forever. And he lives in LA now. And we were sitting outside after the game, socially distanced, everything's cool. And we were talking about our team. And he goes, "You guys look like legit." I said, "Honestly, I think we have a chance to be the best team in the NBA. Mo is elite. Our coach staff's fantastic. And the pieces just seemingly were fitting at such a high level. Jamal was playing out of his mind. Obviously, Nikola's Nikola. Aaron was so seamless with his fit. He just wanted to fit in. And, hey, tell me what I need to do, and I'll do it. So that Clippers game, that was the night where you kind of felt like this team has a real chance to make a real run. Obviously, not soon thereafter, unfortunately, Jamal has his injury. Will and Monte go down. But it's pretty wild to think how quickly things can change from that night, how you felt, to how you just completely deflated when Jamal gets hurt. And we go back to Golden State. Like, Northern California's not been good with us this year, between Sacramento and the Chase Center. Then Will gets hurt, and you're like, come on, you can't be serious. And then to see the fight and the resilience that this team has shown since then, couldn't be prouder of the group, couldn't be more happy of how they've responded to all these kind of tough hands being dealt.
How much credit do you give Mo for the resiliency that this team has shown? Thinking back to the 3-1 comebacks, and then just this year, when you guys were counted out again, and sure enough, you rattled off a ton of wins after Jamal went down, one of the best records in the league since that point. How much credit do you give Mo for?
Tons.
Just inspiring that belief.
That's who Mo is. Mo's a fighter, and I think that's who our team is. I think we're reflective of his and his staff's personality, and it couldn't be more proud of that. So, I never think we're going to lose 3 in a row. I'm obnoxiously upbeat, win or loss, and that's not always. Coaches aren't always like that, and sometimes I can tell they're like, "Dude, just get out of my face, man. I don't want to see the smile right now." But I don't think that we're a team that stays on the mat. I think we've shown that over and over and over. And it's not just last year's playoffs. It's reaching game 82 with a chance to make the playoffs. We had a team dinner the other night. It was great. We had a bunch of guys speak, and Nikola, what do you think? He goes, "Look, we're fighters. We're going to fight. As long as we fight, we'll be fine, win or lose." And it was brief, but it was powerful. That's who we are. I think we're a fighting team, and that's who Mo is.
I know from talking to other teams and GMs and people around the league, not every GM or president of basketball operations gets to know the players on a personal level. I know some of them like to keep a distance because they feel like they need to be cutthroat or this or that. Seeing you fly with Jamal Murray over to the surgery, just what was that experience like? How much time were you spending with him? I mean, were you, there while he's waking up or this or that? Just what was it like? Can you kind of take us inside that process?
Yeah, whenever a guy gets a surgery, I like to be there. I'm lucky enough to never had surgery, but this is how they make a living, and I know it's certainly an angst-ridden time. So, wanted to show our support. Jamal spent a lot of time with Jamal. Period. Whether it's coming over or having dinner, I've been to his house in Kitchener. I enjoy the relationships. I think if there's numerous ways to do it, and none of them are right or wrong, but without the relationships, I don't think the job's enjoyable. So I don't want these guys to ever become assets. The Saturday before we traded Gary, he was at my house watching tournament games, and we were talking about the trade lines that coming up. We have nothing imminent, but if something happens, you're gonna hear from me first. And right. Without that relationship, I don't know how fun the job can be, because the wins and losses are brutal. It's 82 or 72 this year. You win, you're on top of the world. If you lose, you stink. The 24-hour news cycle.
We're that way too, Tim. Sadly, we're very much.
Yeah, I don't have any social media, but I know if something's really aggressively written about us, I can tell. You okay? Yeah, I'm okay. Hi, what's up, man? So you don't have time to enjoy the wins.
Yeah.
So without the relationships, what do you really have? You're just kind of you're working the DMV, and these guys are just numbers or names on the board, and that's not how I want to live life. It's not how I think any of us in this building want to live life.
It's not how every GM approaches it too, though, across sports. I mean, it's got to make the job harder. No, you have this relationship with RJ and Gary, and as you just talked about, there was a tough decision to be made. So, I mean, is there a balance there that's sort of difficult?
Yeah, sometimes I think we think with the heart too much, and we've had chances in years past where we've been able to trade guys who've committed to us, maybe turn down more money elsewhere, or veterans that said they didn't have to come here. They were at the point of their career. They can kind of pick and choose. We could have traded them for decent assets to situations that weren't going to be good for the guy, and we've chosen not to. So I think at times it's certainly I'm always self-scouting myself. You don't want to be heart-driven all the time. You don't want to be inhumane. This is a business, but the business is of made up of people, and you got to be respectful. You got to care, and I'd like to think that the more we do that, the more good karma comes our way. We trade Gary. Gary's in a different jersey. Gary's still a dear friend. I'll pick Gary after Orlando game. 6 assists, love it. Great game. So I don't know it's a good question, but I don't know what the balance is. I just know the way I've chosen to live life is to kind of get to know people, give them the benefit of the doubt, and hopefully, it makes the journey a whole lot more fun. That's for sure.
I know we got to keep it moving here. Just a couple more, but how do you evaluate success now? With Jamal Murray out going into the playoffs, what's your mind frame about what you're going to analyze and how you can prepare with whatever happens this season?
It's an ever-changing prism under which you kind of view success. Like when Jamal went down, again, to be lying to you if I didn't look at the schedule, okay, we go 500, we'll avoid the play-in.
Right.
Right. When Will gets down, you're doing the same thing. Okay, now we're really, where we got Austin and Shaq that were sitting at home, and those guys have been godsends. But right now, honestly, I think the way we played, why not? Why not keep hooping? No. I'm not putting a ceiling on what we can do. We have the best player in the world. I think we have the best coaching staff in the world. We have a team that is battle tested and battle scarred, that does not blink when they're faced with adversity. So at this point, let's go. I think that we won't. It's not a boom or bust situation where if we lose wherever we lose, it's going to be an awful season. I think whatever happens, I'm going to be really proud of this group of guys and our coach staff and the entire organization. I mean, our medical staff, what they've done this year, those guys are working 18-hour days. You get the calls on the COVID test like 2-3 in the morning. Even right now, we got to come back and test. Now we got to test at night. So I'm lucky I live pretty close, but these poor guys and girls who live half an hour away come in all day.
Oh man,
go pick their kid up and come back and test between 5 and 7. So there's no way we're gonna look back on this year with anything but a immense sense of pride. But as we approach Saturday night, I think we're ready to get after it a little bit, man.
Do you think you could get Will or PJ back for this first round series?
I think there's a pretty good chance Will be back.
Yeah.
I think PJ is definitely further behind Will. Will's, I know where Will's mind's at. He's already there mentally. Now we've got to make sure he's going to be there physically. I would, again, fingers crossed. We always tell our guys, you go back out there when you're ready to go back out there. There's going to be no pressure. We're not going to be one of those teams that expedites the healing process. But I know we got a couple injured guys down there. Shoot, if it was up to Jamal, he'd try to play.
I'm sure, yeah.
These guys are chomping at the bit, and these guys are competitive guys who want to get back out there.
All right, to get you out of here, we like to play a fun game. We have a rapid-fire game. People have been enjoying getting to know your personality here, and I think this will facilitate it here. We're going to play a game. We're going to make you be the general manager of takes. You're going to have to trade. This is like F, Marry, Kill. Trade, sign to a 10-day, or sign to a max. And we're going to give you a couple random things. Do you have it, Kill? Do you have it here? Trade, sign, or max featuring Tim Connelly. Here it is.
Your first graphic. Tim.
You look really. I can't tell if you look angry or.
I'm not even sure if that's excited. To be honest,
I don't get angry much unless you're rude. I'm not really an angry guy, so I would assume I'm laughing.
First one I've got for you: season 2 of The Wire. Very controversial season.
That's where the which one was that?
Offshore, the offshoreman. Yeah, the blue collar one.
It was my least favorite one. I mean, it was still good because growing up in the city, I didn't know a lot of I had a lot of buddies whose parents worked. My parents live they live on the South Bottom right now. They look out and the Domino Sugar thing is right there. So I don't know if they nailed. I thought like Snoop is from Baltimore, right?
Yeah.
My older brother Joe taught a couple of the kids when they had what was that, like season 4 or 5 when the kids were stealing cars?
Yeah.
Taught a couple of those kids. So I don't know if they nailed the Baltimore accents, the Greek guys. So it was really good, but not my favorite. So I don't know. What is that? Don't sign them to a 10-day? What is it?
That's a sign to a 10-day. You got to trade or max.
I still enjoyed it. I signed it to a 10-day.
Yeah, it sounds like a 10-day.
That's a 10-day. Classic 10-day. The Last Dance documentary.
Oh, Max.
Yeah, I agree. That's
super Max.
Yeah,
Super Max. Wow.
Yeah.
Super
No
Max.
hesitation Max.
No trade clause, 6 months up front. You name it.
What's the name of that Jokic documentary? Is it like Dream Catching?
That'd be cool. I like that.
Just throwing it out there.
Tim Connelly's luckiest day.
That works.
I mean, Soundboard Shuffle's great.
Yeah.
I mean, I like Dreamcatcher. I like Dreamcatcher.
Yeah.
That's a cool one.
Yeah.
Someone's got to make it. He won't want, but the problem is he'll never be interviewed for it.
Nope.
That's true. Yeah, I'll have to make it without.
It'll all be
his involvement
secondary.
Anyway. Yeah.
Instead of tequila, he'll be sipping rakia during the interview, though. If he does do it.
Yeah, I don't think. I don't know. I think I might. It might be Ogie and me drinking the rakia. I mean, you might have a pivo or two, but I don't know if he's a rakia guy.
It's funny. What about scooters? You scootering around the city?
I like them as long as you're sober. The amount of drunk scootering I see in Rhino or Loda, it's really dangerous. So I mean, I like this. I like them in theory. In practice, I don't know. We had I'm not going to name, but we had someone on our PR staff had a tough spill in LA recently, trying to hit to.
You gotta name it. You have to. Maybe
there are only so many people it could be, Tim.
Yeah,
you're talking about a PR staff.
Next time he's going in and out, I would recommend it, an Uber or walking. But again, like the concept, but I don't know. That's a 10-day.
Alrighty, 2 more for you. I know you're a parent. You're like me. You're watching the same movies. Trolls World Tour. Have you seen this one?
Of course, yeah. I like it. I like the first Trolls more.
I agree. Strong, great answer.
This one got a little too rabbit hole-ish with the music genres, I thought. Got a little too aggressive. Have you seen Soul yet, Adam?
Yeah, I've seen them all, man.
Yeah, Soul is not for the kids. Soul's like an adult movie that's animated. I turned it on like death in the first minute. Like, you could have warned me.
It's always crazy when kids' movies go there. Somewhere real dark, and you're like... The kids are asking, where'd he go? Well, he's dead. I don't.
I try to show my kids some of the movies, like Goonies. I didn't realize how much cussing there was in Goonies, or that there was a guy that was in a noose in Goonies, or like I didn't remember how violent Home Alone was.
Right,
that's an aggressive movie.
Yeah,
a very aggressive movie. But I like Trolls a lot. I like probably my favorite one is Sing of all the kids' movies.
That's good. Yeah,
that's a really good one.
Yeah, that's a really good one. Moana, I'm a Moana guy, and Coco. This is the last one, and you have to pick 1 to trade, 1 to sign, 1 to max. The Major League Baseball, NHL hockey, and NFL.
That's tough, man, because the Baltimore Orioles I was obsessed growing up. Worked concessions at the stadium, stand the whole deal. I mean, I love NFL Sundays. I mean, I'm not a huge college football guy, but NFL Sundays are the best. Yeah. And I went to the Avs game last night, which was awesome.
How was that crowd, by the way? Because that's awesome. One of the big things. Yeah, awesome. It looked awesome.
It felt like a full house. I mean, I was just, in a suite with a mask on, so I wasn't. But it was really cool. I don't want to kill any of those. I love the Orioles. I like going to Rockies games. I love the Ravens. Become a Broncos fan unless they're playing the Ravens. And I think the Avs are the best team in hockey. Their skill levels off the charts.
Yeah, I put this out on Twitter last night. Ball Arena is home to the best player in 2 different sports.
Yeah, for
sure.
Love it.
I love it.
Sure. Yeah.
Tim, we really appreciate it, man. You gave us the full hour. It was great stuff. Felt really informative, but also entertaining, man.
I think this is a record set. I don't think I've ever done an hour with anybody.
I don't think you have either. I know. Really appreciate it, man.
Yeah, this is cool. And then, so all these people commenting. So how's this? This is a live stream, and you just log on to walk me through the tech. How's it work?
We're on YouTube.
We're on YouTube. We're on
so
Twitter. We're on
you have a
Facebook.
YouTube channel right now?
Yeah. We got all the different little areas people watch us. So.
And people are really over in Serbia right now watching this.
Oh, there's people all over.
Serbia,
Yeah, this is like a great
Argentina.
time. Yeah, Argentina,
International
Australia.
If you're in Belgrade, go to Ambar.
Oh wow, he's plugging
Ambar.
Yeah, Toro and Ambar, and they're opening a new one soon.
Do you have any bar recommendations in Denver, like anywhere around Colfax and York, or is there any cool places?
Yeah, what's it called? Lost Lake? Is that still there? I love your bar. I love the gear. You guys are killing it. It's really, really cool what you're doing. It's the if anyone's, it's York and Colfax, right? That's the corner.
Yeah, York and Colfax,
awesome bar. If anyone hasn't checked it out, go check it out. You guys got great drink specials, and I think it's really cool. You have the gears right there as well. It's really sweet. Yeah. The minute our season's over and I'm allowed to socialize with you guys, I'm gonna come drink too much with you.
Can't wait for it. Can't wait. Everybody else, thanks for hanging out in the chat. Hit the like button on the way out, and we're gonna be back tomorrow. Last show before the playoffs begin. We'll see you all then.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.